Hello, welcome back to the Audio Wizard. In this episode, you'll see exactly how I mix the $1 Million Quartet at the University of Virginia. Let's start with the inputs with the Rio Box 1 up at the side wing of stage left. So the front fills are actually being fed from an amplifier and a Rio rack here in the stage left wing, and it comes down this line, and the wedges are being fed from that line. And then we have another Rio rack actually back here right under the deck. Now to get that travel, because there's so many moving parts, we have this wall that moves, we have that wall over there that moves and takes out, these pillars take out, the back wall moves, and so we need all of this travel space. So we actually have a patch coming from the back here. There's a patch in the wall in the back of the stage, up there, coming down, going down this line here with lighting, goes underneath the deck, comes underneath all of the stage set, back here behind the thing, and there we are. We have a transmitter for Fluke for his ears and another Rio. So this Rio takes all of our drum inputs and the bass input and the guitar input, and all of that's set up over Cat5 over a Rio network. Makes it super clean and super easy to set up and tear down. So that is supplying Fluke with his ears. And so what we have is the output coming out of the Rio going into a small mixer. So he has the ability to give himself more top end or bottom end. It's just another amp stage. And then that goes into his ear pack. As far as miking goes on stage, we've got this 57 here. We've got some drum mics up here. So for the 55s, they come down this line here, and then they go straight back. There's a screen that comes down in front of everybody's face, so this piano has to move out. So the piano has two mics, one low, one high, and wireless modules, Shure packs. The guitars are running electrosonic Vini 1s, all four of them, because they're small packs. All the lavaliers are running Shure. I should say all the lavaliers. Diane's actually on a electrosonics pack, actually two electrosonics packs. Here, I'll show you. Now, why in the world would you put two mics on that poor woman, Chris? Well, whenever a musical like this is running, you don't want to pull anybody off stage, especially if you need to get into a wig, because wigs are really hard to get into and fix a microphone issue really fast. So you can always go to that second pack and still have audio. All right, so for Diane, we actually have a two-in-one mic. This mic has two elements on it into one cable. Then it gets split out into electrosonic pigtails for these electrosonic Vini 1s. So we have pack 1 and pack 2. Both of them have these nice little clips on them. And so she puts one hairpiece on, and then this gets clipped to the hairpiece. She puts a second hairpiece on, and then the wig, and then this actually tucks right under the face of the wig. And so you don't even see the element, and we have two RF signals coming from Diane. Okay, so I have been asked on many occasions how Bill Morey, the bass player, does what he does on stage. And let me show you how his bass is set up, and I think you'll get it. So Bill's basses are fully custom. They're set up for structure, not acoustic. So you can see that the F-holes have a piece of foam resting in them. Instead of being open, they're plugged. And why? Oh man, there's another piece of cable here. What is that going to? Okay, so what this is a piezo element right under the fretboard here that goes all the way down to a stage amp in the dovetail down here. And so the cool thing is how he has it set up, and he can give me more attack out of the top end or more bass out of the bottom end. And then that all goes into a wireless signal, and that goes into his bass rig back here. Right on top there, he has a pedal board, a switching pedal board, so we can swap between the two basses and do a couple other tricks with them. But he's got full EQ back there between the two, and then he's got his other bass, Goldie, over here. I guess maybe that's Goldie and this is Greenie. Anyway, it's set up the exact same way. So this one also has a wireless pack and 2 inputs in the dovetail. He had that custom made for his bass work. And so that's how we get that really nice gut string attack in the house. I'm taking a DI line after his EQ path on his bass rig. And so whatever he does on stage I get, but it's clean and transparent instead of having a lot of low-end mess that's coming off the stage.
A week later, I'm laying in bed in the hospital watching the Ed Sullivan Show. Watching Elvis Presley sing my song on the Ed Sullivan Show. You can't believe how that feels. That should have been my break. Carl, you know, the cover was the one that... Hey, man, I got the whole world pitching songs at you. You could have left Blue Suede Shoes alone. Since you've done it on TV, everyone thinks it's your song. I got DJs telling me I'm covering Elvis, but no. It's the other way around, ain't it? Oh, and then there comes a time I'm standing out there and by God, I hear Sam Phillips on the phone to the pressing plants. Tell them to take my records off the presses and put Johnny Cash on.
Alright guys, whenever it comes to how I actually mix the show, usually with my watch off, I have this really weird OCD thing about that. But whenever it comes to how I actually mix this show, I've got it set up in an interesting way. I'm usually running on custom layer 1 and my DCA 1 through 8. I've got my DCA 9 through 16 on my right side, and that also helps out a lot because that gives me the ability to just do my band here. But on my left, I run all of their over-ear mics. This is where I run dialogue. Here in this section is all the super mics. I have the studio and then the 2 primary guitars for Elvis and John. Obviously, this is for my DCA mixing between drums, keys, bass, electric guitar, lavaliers. I've got the supers, which is flashing now, right? So that's how I can take them out whenever they're moving those around, so there's no garbage, audio from the monitors coming back at us. And then I have my verb and delay, and obviously I could leave these up if I wanted to because nothing's going to be coming through them at the time if this is muted, right? But I have an all mute here that obviously mutes everybody except for Sam. That's what I run for my opening scene. So whenever this is all muted, they're back there getting set up and ready and getting their positions while Sam Phillips is over here talking far stage left. So if I pan far stage left, your information, your image goes far stage left. All of a sudden we go, and I have my supers up, and we get to it. Everything then is live, obviously, except for the supers. We got to make those live. And then I have my delay tap here for a mono delay. My custom 2 is for all of my backups for my auxiliary sends to the wedges. You notice over here I have John center and Elvis backup. Johnny Cash goes to the center of the wedge, center wedge sometimes, which is usually allocated for Elvis Presley. He's got a couple of songs in the center, and obviously he doesn't want his information coming from his left, right? which is left. So that means whenever his guitar comes live, this is just a direct copy, except for on a secondary patch, and it's obviously running post fader, right? So whenever I kill it, it kills that wedge, and this is actually a DCA setup for this guy back here in the background, right? So these are the backup and the switch for his guitar running to a different speaker. And that's the $1 Million Quartet, guys. That's how this is set up. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of knowing when the lines run, when the lines don't run, when these mics should be hot, when they shouldn't. Obviously, keep all mics out whenever they're not being used. I mean, don't literally never run a theater show like that. Always run dialogue correctly, guys. I see a lot of guys that'll run it like this and put a small gate and let the gate do the work, and that's garbage. That's trash. You can hear the gain floor come on and off even with the softest gate. Just know your lines. That's another thing, guys. I actually do not run scenes on this show at all. This is all live mix constantly. The reason is because this musical is unlike any other. I call it the slinky. It constantly is slinking back and forth. It never has a constant time. We never end at the same time every night because the music, yes, is very timed, but whenever you go between music and acting, the time shifts around. And so, especially on a Yamaha, whenever you have a scene selection, you go to fire it and it's trying to move and you try to override it because now John's delivering a line or Carl is delivering a line before your timed sequence is, you're already messed up. You can't catch up fast enough to make that happen. And so with this show, I do not run scene. Everything is ran real time. And you just have to know the lines. You know how it's delivered. You have to know where that line is going to be delivered on stage, right? So you have to already have it panned to that side for localization, for the Haas effect, right? And that's it. That's how the show's ran.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't seen Vlog 1 and 2, please click up here at the top left. And remember that it's not about magic. It's about science. It's frequency, vibration, and time. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.